Hey everybody, and welcome to Girl, I Got Questions TV.
The talk show for the woman who is out there trying to pull it together and figure it out. Boo, we are right there with you trying to figure it out. I'm Yasmine Williams-Woods. I help women conquer life and everything it throws at them by leveraging the courageous love of Jesus.
And I am Shana Berkeley, your neighborhood stylist, your stylist next door, here to teach you how to rock the trends in your real world. Alright, so let's get into our first segment. This segment is called Mama Ain't Raised No Fool, because she who asked the question remains a fool for 5 minutes. She who never asked remains a fool forever. And Mama ain't raised no fool, child. So Yasmine, what's our question for today?
She did not raise a fool. This week we are actually responding to a little segment that Jonathan McReynolds and Tasha Cobbs did, where they talked about planning and purpose, ultimately like about depression, anxiety, mental health, all those things. And that will become more clear to you as Shana and I share our response to that video. We'll link it in the description box so that you can watch it and then let us know your response to it. Shana, do you want to start?
I love this segment. I thought it was really interesting because it's very rare, well, not very rare, but it's not as common to see gospel artists or Christians talking about mental health and talking about mental health issues. And so when I do see that, I stand and take notice. And basically they were talking about how not always, right? We know that there are chemical imbalances and there are other traumatic things that happen to create depression and anxiety, but sometimes these specifically anxious thoughts can come from us trying to plan and have a way that we think our lives should go, instead of A, trusting in the order steps of the Lord, and B, taking it day by day. And I think especially in this quarantine time where it feels like, I joke and tell people it's Groundhog's Day, like every day is the same day. But we have to be very intentional about saying, you know what, I'm taking this time, this hour, this day, this moment to really live and experience the things I need to get done. Like, I had to actually start writing a to-do list and a timeline for those things, and giving myself grace, right? And just saying, okay, these are the only things I can get done. Because if you do that, you get anxious about the uncertainty of when you'll ever be able to come out, and how can I plan this, and what should I do for my birthday in a few months, and let me see what Shana over there doing. And it can become overwhelming. And I think that anxiety can creep in, and the enemy honestly can creep in and take what could be a time of rest, what could be a time of reflection, growing closer to God, growing in your love walk, or just, honey, taking a nap, and make that into a very anxious and dark part of our lives.
Yeah, for sure. I can relate. Like, thank you for acknowledging that, yes, there are chemical imbalances that are very, very real. And I tell people all the time, like, it's okay to ask your doctor, to tell your doctor what's going on, and ask for a prescription, because it's not you. It's scientific. There's something happening that, we do have to seek medical attention for. I loved that in addition to, like, there were gospel artists talking about the importance of mental health and how we are sometimes responsible for the onset of any type of mental illnesses. I also love that it was a black man dominating the conversation, because, it's already taboo in the black community for, you to seek therapy, for you to seek mental health, all those things. And so that's only heightened when we start talking about therapy and black men. So yes, thank you for defying the odds and just showing a different narrative and showing that, like, no, black men are out here seeking mental health. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, and encouraging that in this time to seek mental health, counselors, to seek spiritual counselors, to seek your friends, to really define, like, if you are an extrovert, if you get energy from other people, then reach out to your friends and be like, hey girl, hey guy, hey person, whatever. Can we FaceTime? Can we take this meeting, over the phone? Like, sometimes emails just feel very isolating, at least for me as someone who's a true extrovert. It's hard to just be like, all right, I'm just gonna isolate and never see or talk to anybody or have these brief conversations. It really does feel like an echo in the room And so I've had to be more vulnerable with my friends and family and be like, hey, can we FaceTime? Hey, what you doing? I'm bored, I'm lonely. And saying those things out loud, and I found that people are wanting to help you, and they check on you, and they pray for you, and they miss seeing you too. And so finding bright spots in that. And so, I mean, obviously he wasn't talking about quarantine. This is a pre-quarantine conversation, but the idea of us having to go through the stages of grief, but then really say like, all right, God, it is what it is. I cannot control this. And then when we get out of quarantine or self-isolation, having that same energy to every part of our lives and asking God, what is my responsibility? What is my purpose in this moment? And trusting that he gonna do the rest. And it is gonna be what it is. Because he didn't say it's gonna be good if you give it to God. He said it's gonna be what it is. And that can take like that anxiety off of you.
Sure. And I like that was like, I could totally relate to everything that he said. As someone who struggles with anxiety, as someone who's formerly been on medication for anxiety as well as postpartum depression, so I know the chemical imbalance side of it. And I also know the part where where I have been responsible for my own anxiety, for the very things that he talked about in the video, in that he said something to the extent of every day we wake up and our purpose for ourselves and our mind is to fulfill our plan for that day. Y'all, that is me. Like, I got a schedule, I got a to-do list, I got every task time out, I got color coded. Like, I know what I want to accomplish. And if I don't accomplish it, if people start to call me, y'all know how I feel about that. Or if things go over, people don't, the meeting is just too long and we talk about too much, all these things, like, I start to get stressed because I'm so fixated on my own plan and my own goals. But what he talks about in the video is like, we weren't created for our goals, for our plans, for our aspirations. We were created for the purposes of God, to glorify his name. And so the sooner we relinquish that power, that control, the more peace we have, the less we'll experience anxiety. And I can just attest that is so very true. As I've adopted, like, when things start to arise for me, I say, like, either I trust God or I don't. And immediately that allows me to take captive those anxiety-inducing thoughts. Like, I am in his will. I am in his plan. There's no greater peace than in his palm. Like, and his plan is perfect. I ain't got time for my little haphazard, reckless, hot mess plans when I could be in a plan that's totally perfect and works together for my good. So, yes, I was just all about the video and could relate tremendously, just because I am guilty of having produced my own anxiety in my life, just because I am very rigid. I can be very rigid. And God was like, you're not in control.
In control. Yeah, so you guys go in our description bar, watch that video, comment, let us know what you think, if you agree, if you can add on to anything. And then also, while you're under the video, make sure you subscribe and like this video. And if you really love us, share us with a friend, because that's how we're going to grow over here at Girl I Got Questions TV. So thank you so much for that. I mean, I really enjoyed that video, and I learned a lot, and I'm reminding myself, especially through this time, to heed to the advice and the wise counsel of Jonathan and Tasha Cobbs.
And now it is time for Fashion Foreteller. And look, we need all the fashion foretelling right now, because when we finish with this quarantine, we want to make sure that we come out hot, fresh, and all the things. So my girl Shana, the fashion foreteller, the blazer queen herself, what do you have for us?
Alright guys, so today we are talking about scarves. Okay, everybody thinks scarves, especially black folks, honey, scarf is what you go to sleep in. But scarves can really up the ante on an outfit, and it can be the perfect accessory for any outfit in lots of different ways. So obviously I'll put pictures in here today about how you can use scarves. You saw in one of our later videos, or earlier videos rather, that I wore this scarf just kind of tied to the back around my head. I love that look. But you also can put the scarf on the side of like a button down shirt if you want to give like a Claire Huxtable type of like bougie look. You can take a scarf and you can tie it around your waist with like a black dress or a solid color dress. It can then become a belt. I have even taken those really skinny scarves, cut them in half, wrap them around shoes, or use them as shoelaces. You can make them bows. You can take longer scarves like this one, which I don't know if you can see how big this is. I've actually worn this scarf as a shirt. I doubled the scarf. I put a little tank top on under it, child. I'm not that scandalous, with a belt. So scarves in your closet can really do double duty. It can also, you know, be worn on your head, worn on your wrist, worn on your neck. Every type of accessory that you can think of, you can have a scarf. I've seen people wrap scarves around earrings that are pretty plain and make them really interesting and almost unique and one of a kind. And so as we're quarantining, as we're trying to see how to get exciting and how to get unique in our fashion, I want to tell you to go pull out those scarves. They don't take up a lot of space, but they can add a big punch to a basic boring outfit. Use that scarf, honey, to make your look go from blam to blow, okay? So scarves, guys. I hope you guys try a scarf. Send me pictures, tag us in pictures, let us know how it goes.
I love that. Thank you. And like, I have tons of scarves. So I'm gonna make it work. And I'm trying from like last week when you gave us animal print. I tried to pull out my animal print.
Oh, I see, girl. I see the animal print, honey. I'm doing a little bit. We talked about that army green a couple weeks ago. So I figured I would pull out one of my faves that got some brooches on it and stuff like that. So we rocking these trends in our real world.
If you follow us on Instagram at Girl I Got Questions TV, there's a really hot video of Shana in a leopard dress, y'all, serving us life, pure life, okay? Slayed, done, serve the people, give them what they want. You need to love it. But so this is like my little leopard dress. It is not sexy like hers, but I tried to do what I could. Go check that picture out. Show it some love, y'all. She's hot.
Girl, listen, that was back in my young days when I went out to the club. Honey, I don't do that no more. I don't do it no more, but I appreciate the love. Yes, go follow us on Instagram, like our pictures, comment on our discussion of the week. We would love to hear your thoughts. This is a community talk show. We created it because we wanted us to be able to talk about things that matter to us, and kind of cross a little spirituality with a little ratchet or a little fun, with a little, like, you know what I'm saying, current events. We got all the tea for y'all. Guys, this is one of the fan favorites, honey. This is Yasmine's favorite segment, and you know what it is. If you do, say it with us, honey. This is Faith, Filled, and Fabulous.
Yes, for sure. And every single week I tell you that if you are filled with faith, then yes, boo, you are already fabulous. And if you are trying to be fabulous but not filled with faith, then look, you come to the right place. We gonna help get you together, because you can't be fabulous unless you're faith filled, and vice versa. This week, y'all, it is Holy Week. Thank you, Jesus. Tomorrow is Easter. And our Jesus is Jesus, whether we at home, at church, whether we got Easter clothes on or not. All right. So, in honor of just this week, just Jesus, all the things, I'm going to take us to the book of Matthew, chapter 28. Now, I want y'all to read verses 1 through 10. But I'm just going to focus on two verses 6 and 8. So this is when both of the Marys, they go back to the tomb and they find out that, like, Jesus is not there. He's gone. Yes, Lord. He has risen. So verse 6 says, "He is not here, for he has risen just as he said he would." And I wanted to point this, or focus on this verse in particular, because Jesus is gone, as he said he would be. And as we are in this time of quarantine, social distancing, I just want us to be reminded that God has said things to you. He has made promises to you. He has a whole book of promises for our lives. And y'all, he is going to do what he said he's going to do. The statistics, the data, the devastation is all so real. It's so real. I'm not denying that. But our God is also real, and he's faithful, and his promises are true. So I just want to remind us with that verse 6, that, you know, Jesus had risen as he said he was going to do, and he's going to do all the things that he's promised, all the other things that he's promised. This pandemic does not change our God, though a lot of other things have changed. And the next verse I want to focus on is verse 8, where it says, "So the women left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy, and ran to tell the good news to the disciples." And y'all, I'm reading from the Amplified version. With fear and great joy, they ran quickly. And it again just makes me think of where we are right now as a world. I have great joy, period, point blank, because I believe God. I trust God. I submit to God. And I know he's not a man that he should lie. So I have joy and just hope. And I'm just so excited about all that God is going to do. That is what gives me peace every day, is my trust in him. So I have that joy. But there are days, there are moments, there are times that I have fear. I have fear for the unknown, fear for the world. And I don't like the word fear, but just stick with me because that's the word they use. But just this hurt and this worry and this concern. And I just want to say that that's okay. It's okay to have both. You don't have to feel like, oh, I love Jesus. Everything is well. What's wrong with y'all? Jesus is still Lord. We winning out here. Like, yeah, have that confidence in God, but be okay with the fact for the moments that you don't, because it says here that they ran with fear and great joy. And so I just want to close or wrap up my points with, though, if you're feeling joy, or if you're feeling some negative emotion, whether it be fear, frustration, hurt, worry, still go spread the good news. Still do what it is that God has called you to do and purposed you to do. You can do what it is that he's asked of you with the gamut of emotions that I know we all are experiencing during this time. So just be encouraged. Run quickly with your fear, with your joy, with whatever, because God has done and is doing what he said he was going to do. And that's all I got.
I wanted to add something to that. That I thought it was really interesting, and a couple notes, and then I know we wanted to talk about something funny about Easter, but in the Bible, it's interesting because the word fear means a lot of different things if you translate it back to like the original form, right? So, and I didn't look this up particularly, but I know in other parts, fear can mean reverence. Fear can mean not that you're afraid, but you're like unsure or uncertain. And so those women, probably had a lot of emotions. They probably were like, what is going on here? Uncertain. They probably also were in awe of the fact that, oh my gosh, he said he'd be gone, he's not all that. This excitement, this reverence, this confusion, this uncertainty, and a little bit, of that like dop of like afraid, or just, because also we have to remember that at that time, people were being crucified for being Christians and followers of Christ. And so they may have had a little bit of like, what does this mean for me and my life and my safety? But like fear can be all those things. So sometimes when we feel like we're easy to go to fear or afraid, when really the true complexity of our emotions are that we're unsure, we're sad, we don't know what the future holds. We do have a little bit of that like, ugh, how is this going to negatively affect me? And I think that I love when you read other translations, or if you look at the origin of the word, sometimes it's actually more complex than just being afraid. But there was a judge, I can't remember her name, she did Divorce Court, I don't know if you ever watched that, but she said, Lynn somebody, right? And she said, if I waited to get all my ducks in a row to cross the road, I would never cross. I just gathered them up and ran across, right? So sometimes we have to just gather up, like you said, all of our feelings, gather up all of our confusion, and then go and tell it, go and do it. And that's what these women who are great examples for us did. They gathered up all their emotions, their questions, their confusion, they, wanting to learn more about what had happened though. They gathered that up, honey, and they went and they did the work of the Lord, and they sorted it out later. So that's really interesting.
Okay, so I have been, and I was so relieved that my girl Shana was right there with me. For years, I've been like, why is it on the third day. Like there's Good Friday, then there's, the way I learned this as a kid, like Good Friday is Jesus being crucified on the cross. And then so Saturday he was dead in the tomb, and then Sunday they found out he had risen. But I'm like, that's not 3 days, because on the third day he rose again. It's so many songs about it. But I'm like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's 2. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. What? No, it's not the third day. So my girl, Shana, help us out. Educate the people. Get us together.
So I'm going to put a big asterisk here, and if we know how to insert an asterisk, we will. If not, I just drew on my hand. This is research from Bible scholars. This is not what I know to be a fact. I didn't pray about this. It wasn't divine intervention that gave me this information. I did some research, because I literally said it to her yesterday, like, I don't understand how Friday and Sunday is 3 days. People need to get better explanation. When you ask Christians, they just like say it is what it is. I did some research, and a couple things to keep in mind before I explain. So back in those days, the Sabbath was Saturday. So we read a lot about the Sabbath in the Bible, and some of us think it's Sunday. I don't think God really cares what day it is, in the sense of, not to say he doesn't care, but he's not like, if you rest on Sunday and not Saturday, if you don't rest at all, like, everybody relax. But in the Bible, it was on a Saturday. This is basically, long story short, the timeline based on biblical scholars going through the Bible, understanding the calendar when Christ was alive, and understanding Passover, which was the week that it happened. So Palm Sunday, Jesus did come into the town with the palms and the praising. He did all that on Sunday. And then on Tuesday, right, they did Passover, the Last Supper. When he said, this is my body that was broken for you. This is my blood that was given to you. That was on Tuesday. After that, on Tuesday night, this is what they said on the internet, a couple different scholars, it wasn't just one. Tuesday night, they went to the garden, they prayed. Jesus was like, let this cup pass me, but not my will, but your will. Y'all remember that? Because that was all Tuesday night. It was late Tuesday night when Judas gave him a kiss, betrayed him. Peter cut the ear off. They took him in handcuffs. All this was happening on Tuesday. Y'all with me so far? You with me? Okay. Wednesday, early in the morning, early. They probably woke my dog up. They took Jesus to Pontius Pilate and was like, Pontius, this man tripping. Put him to death. Pontius wiped his hands. Like, all right, y'all want, well, I think the man's name was Barnabas or whatever. They let him out. He cleaned his hands with Jesus, was like, y'all do y'all. They went to Calvary. All this happened on Wednesday. At 9 o'clock, this is what the Bible says. At 9 o'clock, he was on the cross. From noon to 3, it was dark. The Bible talks about those 3 hours of darkness, from noon to 3. At 3, he died. Jesus said, unto my hands, unto your hands, or whatever. He died at 3. They came to get the body. You can read more into this, but I want to say his name was Joseph. A rich man came and got the body and put him in a tomb that was never used. That happened about 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock was right before the sun went down, and it was the Passover week. It had different days. That was like a Sabbath that Wednesday night. So they had to do it before the sun went down. They put him in the tomb on Wednesday. Thursday, he was in the tomb. Friday, he was in the tomb. Lots of stuff was happening, and lots of reasons why, and lots of moving people. Thursday, he was in the tomb. Friday, he was in the tomb. Saturday, he was in the tomb until Saturday night. So 72 hours. 72 hours he was dead. 3 days. And then he rose on the third day, and they didn't discover it until Sunday, because Sabbath was their day of rest. They couldn't go to the tomb on that Saturday. They didn't know he was up on Saturday. They found out my dog was up on Sunday when they went, and he was gone. They was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I'm a freak. So, although we celebrate, and they have a lot of theories about how it became Friday to Sunday, it was about how we moved the Sabbath to Sunday, and how our work structure was set up, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know who, I don't know why, I don't know when, but technically, based on Bible scholars, it's not Friday to Sunday, which is a dub because that's not 3 days. It's supposed to be, he crucified on Wednesday, he rose on Saturday. They just found out about it on Sunday. What we think?
Got it. Thank you for giving us that timeline, getting us together. We're going to have to find a place where we can share it so the people can see.
Right. I mean, you can celebrate it how you want to, but I'm just letting the people know. I mean, but that's understandable, right? Because we call it Easter and we have these Easter egg hunts and Easter bunny. Like, it's really has a lot of moving parts with pagan holidays and like American or westernized ways of celebrating. So I don't think anybody should be really surprised that it's not actually totally correct. But the spirit of it is there. And so God he found it, I think.
My thing, look, Jesus rose. No, Jesus was sent by his Father, God, because God so loved the world. He came, he was here on earth, completely human, completely God. He died on the cross for our sins, and he rose again. All the dates, do what you want, just know that Jesus rose again.
You can celebrate it in November if you want to. Do what you do. Just celebrate it. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, for the new covenant.
Thank you, Lord.
So we just thought that y'all should know that because it was bothering us so much so that I actually did a couple hours worth of research. So that's how you know it was. I just needed some clarity. But now that I know, I'm down with the Friday to Sunday situation. Do what you do.
This next segment is I Rise, and it is where we honor a woman who asked and answered the hard questions throughout her life and her work so that we wouldn't have to. Shana, who are we honoring this week?
Well, as you guys know, Bernie Sanders dropped out of the presidential race, and so now it's going to be Biden for Democrats and Trump for the Republicans. And so in the honor of politics, I thought we would talk about the first whoever did it, honey, and that was our good sis Shirley Chisholm, okay? All right, Shirley Chisholm was born November the 30th, 1924, y'all. And get this, she died January 1st, 2005. Like, she was good and alive during our glory days when we were younger. And I don't even think I knew she was alive. When I knew who she was. I learned about her in elementary school. But I don't even think I gave my good sis her roses while she could still smell them. So I'm sorry, my girl. But let's talk about it today. She was born in the U.S., but she actually spent a lot of her childhood in Barbados because her mother and father they were working class. They had a hard time raising her siblings, and so they sent her sisters for a couple years to live with her grandmother in Barbados. And so she would consider herself a Barbados American, and that was why she had a heavy accent, although she was an American. She started her career off as an educator. She knew education and understanding was really an important portal to opening the world and freeing us from a lot of the oppression that we had. And then she ended up running and winning a seat in the state legislature and in Congress, particularly in the U.S. House of Representatives. That was in 1968, and she represented New York, okay? New Yorkers, where you at? And so she did a lot of amazing work, particularly for getting unemployment for the working class and making sure that the working and lower class were not overlooked in these conversations in Congress. And she even worked in the House Agricultural Committee, which is really interesting. She was not afraid to speak truth to power, but she also understood the idea of love and the idea of having conversation to change the hearts and the minds of people instead of just like shoving it down their throats. And so I think she had a really interesting and nuanced way of building community and relationships in a male-dominated or white-dominated field that she worked in Congress. So she ran for president in 1972. We know that she obviously did not win, but think about this. As much as she struggled and as much as we know about her, she only spent $300,000 in total for her campaign. And we know that people spend millions and millions of dollars for their campaign. So she didn't win, but she really gave us all that first look at how a woman, a black woman in particular, could lead this country, honey, and she could have done it well. After she retired, she moved to Florida. She actually went back into higher education and was educating for a couple of years before the Lord called her home in 2005. She has so many honors and legacies and awards that I can't even name it all, but trust me, she lives an amazing and full life. So, and I wanted to see this thing I thought was really interesting. So her vault, when she passed away, they put her in a vault, and the inscription on her vault reads, unbought and unbossed. And I think, come on, what else can you say? What else is there to say? So yes, Shirley Chisholm is our girl for the day.
Yes, I love it. So, I agree. I didn't realize that she was still living during that would have been my junior year of high school when she passed away. Definitely didn't give her roses either, but we about to give my girl 2 snaps and a slay. Are you ready, Shana?
Let's do it. Here we go. 2 snaps and a slay from Miss Shirley Chisholm. Thank you for asking and answering the hard questions so we wouldn't have to. Alright, this is an interesting, a really fun segment that we did have called To Go Plate. Now listen, y'all ever been to a barbecue and the person who ain't bring nothing, honey, she always take a what? A to-go plate. Well, we want you to watch this show, and when it's all said and done, we want you to have some things to take with you to go. So Yasmine, what's our to-go plate today?
Yeah, so first of all, isn't it just sad that we can't go to barbecues anymore? Like, I welcome, you know, in the past, I probably side-eyed the sister who used to come and take all the to-go plates. Honey, after this is over, whoever you are in my family, come on, take all the plates you want. Just come so we can be together. But along those same lines, to-go plate today is about social distancing, if you will. We want y'all to be able to leave this episode with some tangible things to do during this time. And there are people, and I have probably been those people who are like, okay, let's, work on your next steps in your business. Read a couple of books. Read the entire Bible. Y'all, I got a friend who's reading the Bible in 90 days, okay? But just all these things. But we also want to be realistic during this time, especially we just finished talking about anxiety and depression. Like, now is not the time. There's enough. Today has enough worries of its own. So we don't need to add any extra depression, anxiety, stress, any of it. We gonna keep it simple. So Shane and I were talking just about what are some simple things that as women, as girlfriends, we can do during this time. And I just want to start with one of my favorites. I do it whether we pandemicking or not, and that's take a nap. Boo, take you a nap, go for it. Other things, like maybe like me, I want to figure out how to do my makeup, so watch you some YouTube videos, catch up on Girl I Got Questions TV, head to Shana's channel, head to my channel, binge watch some YouTube, binge watch, learn some new recipes from YouTube or new makeup tutorials, whatever your thing is. Watch, binge watch. Same thing with Netflix. People are saying go outside. I support going outside. Sit on your porch, just walk, whatever. I don't know. What's some other things we can do, Shana?
I think you could kind of think of anything that you feel like you haven't done or haven't had time to do. This may be a fun time to do it. But things that you enjoy, like rediscovering a hobby. What I do is I actually go on a walk, because there's not really a lot of people out by my house, but I dance. I have music in, honey, and I dance. I rediscover the fact that I love to dance and I love to move and I love music. And I think just rediscovering things that you may have forgotten about, if it's puzzles or painting. And it doesn't have to be like a stress reliever, but it's just you finding who you are again. I 100% support the nap. One thing I want to try to do is to clean out my email. It is not working. I'm failing, but I'm trying. Cleaning out my email. So small things like that, but to not let people bully you into making these grandiose changes and leaving differently, meaning this $1 million idea. Learning, growing deeper in your prayer life, being okay, God, I'm just gonna sit here for 10 minutes a day because I got it. What else I'm gonna do? Really finding things that kind of set your soul on fire in a different way. So that's what I think. That's what I kind of been doing. I have not been productive. I have not been, really just spring cleaning. I just been kind of going with the flow and letting my body and my work life and my kind of temperament for the day lead me on what I do.
For sure. And so, and I've just been doing a little bit of both. Like, I have done some spring cleaning things because that's what I like to do. But something that's new that I've been doing along those lines of like self-care, self-love is like, I've been taking baths, y'all. Like, I've been sleep on the whole movement. Take you a bath, get you some salt, some fresh oils, like whatever your thing is, y'all. It is life changing for the other sisters out there who've been missing out. I'm loving it. I've been sleeping in my sexy pajamas, and like all these things are just making me feel beautiful during this time where, you know, my eyebrows are returning to the unibrow that they are. Just again, we can't reiterate it enough. Doing something simple that is pleasant for you, but that also feels productive and not a complete total waste of time, because and naps, honey, are not a waste of time.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, I've been working on like skincare, washing my face twice a day, doing the little mask or whatever, but I think we just wanted to, what we want you to take to go from this is do you, and don't allow anybody but the Lord's, honey, to force you into guilt or shame or what you should be or shouldn't be doing.
So this is the best segment, according to a lot of our viewers. This is the Gas Me Up segment, and it is for every woman out there who's screaming, hey, in her Instagram stories or Snapchat or just out with her girlfriends. And we are going to share our Gas Me Up songs for this week. Shana, what's your song?
Okay, guys, this is how I chose my song, right? So we just got a quarantine order to April 30th, and of course all the memes had Justin Timberlake on it. It said roses are red, April is gray, next time we leave the house, and it had a picture of Justin Timberlake. It's gonna be May. And so because of that, my Gas Me Up song of the week is NSYNC, It's Gonna Be Me, because the song be popping, it's busting, and it's giving me something to look forward to, that I can leave the house in May. Help me, Jesus. That's my song of the week. Girl, what's yours?
Yes, my song for the week is, it is my righteous week. But let me just clarify, because last week I was very upset that my Gas Me Up song was cut from the final video. So make sure you go watch last week's episode, but know that my Gas Me Up song is not in it. It was a ratchet week, and the song was Savage, okay? Because I've never heard the whole song, but I am here for this Savage challenge, and I get so upset that I can't do it because it really don't align with who I am. But they got to save one now, so I might try to work that out. Shana, you're going to have to join the challenge with me. But my song for this week, we were talking about Tasha Cobbs earlier, so I'm just going to stay with the Tasha Cobbs little train that we're on. And my song for the week is For Your Glory. Woo. Takes me out every time, gets my life in order. Love it. That's my song.
Right on in there. Okay, I love both of those songs. Y'all let us know what's y'all Gas Me Up song of the week. What song y'all cleaning y'all house to? Anita Baker, Luke Vandross, Kirk Franklin, where you at? Let us know what y'all doing.
Thank y'all so much for watching. Girl, I got questions TV.
Girl, keep asking the hard questions, because on the other side of that is a woman who is free, who is fabulous, and who, know what, is doing what she wants to do in this quarantine time and not listening to all the coaches and Instagram thugs on the internet. And we want you to be that woman.